Hi, welcome to Pod of Mercy. I am your host, Long Hair Linda, and today's very special guest co-host is
Maverick, Jamie Mav. Just call us Jamie for the majority. Pleasure to be here.
I'm so happy that you're here. How are you doing, Jamie?
Very, very excited for this episode, and I've had a great weekend of like wholesome things. So, yeah, it's been a good weekend, and this is gonna be the cream on the cake. So I'm excited.
I love that for you. All right, well, listen, Jamie, you haven't been here before. How I usually start the episode before I even get into the topic is with a quick rapid fire. So I'm going to ask you 10 questions, and you have 45 seconds to answer them. Do you think you can do it?
4.5 seconds per question. Okay, right. I'm going to set up on my chair. By the way, just for context, if you see me like nearly fall off this chair at any point in the episode, I am okay. I've just got like a dodgy wheel, which like makes it like so. Yeah.
But all right. Well, I mean, if you're listening to this, you might want to jump on the YouTube because you might actually see Jamie topple over briefly during the call.
Okay.
All right, cool. All right, well, I'm going to get my timer together. So if you do answer all 10 questions, then you win. If you don't, then I win. So just make it a bit competitive there. Well, you don't really win anything. Just bragging rights. Bragging rights. No prizes over here. We're too poor for that. We don't have the budget. Okay, you ready? So the timer will start when I ask the first question, okay?
Okay.
Okay, and go. Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
What's your favorite rainy day activity?
Watching Netflix.
One thing you regret spending money on?
Alcohol.
Find your dream job or win the lottery?
Win the lottery.
What dish do you cook best?
Oh, all of them. Carbonara.
A night out or a night in?
Night in.
If you were to write a book, what would it be about?
Probably a philosophical book.
Are you more of an introvert or an extrovert?
Extrovert, definitely.
Favorite board game?
Favorite what, sorry?
Board game.
Monopoly.
What's your guilty pleasure?
Oh, skincare routine.
You have 4 seconds left. You did it. Very well done.
That was so quick. That was so quick. That was over in a flash.
That was amazing. You did all 10 questions. Now, I have to ask you, skincare is your guilty pleasure?
Yeah, because the reason I say skincare is a guilty pleasure, and I don't want to get into like what's masculine and what's not, is that like I've got like a solid skincare routine that I'm trying to stick to with some quite expensive little brands to keep the skin fresh and moisturized. But the reason it's a guilty pleasure is that like I love doing it, but it's probably seen as to be like a bit more feminine.
Nah, looking after yourself, it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be.
In the age of the metrosexual man, you know what I mean? Like, it's not.
Do you reckon it's come back around? Because we had that for a bit. I remember that when I was younger, I was a bit metrosexual about, but then I think it went away again. Do you think it's going back?
I think it's back in fashion.
All right, cool. All right, well, listen, very, very well done. You won. You won the rapid fire with 4 seconds remaining, so you should be very, very proud of yourself. Again, like I said, no prizes, but you do have bragging rights. Okay, so Jamie, thank you so much for doing this episode. I'm so excited to get into this. In fact, I think I'm going to call this episode Into the Ick of It.
Nice.
Because I have never met anybody in my life with as many icks as you. Now, for those of you listening, those of you watching, if you don't know what an ick is, Urban Dictionary defines ick as something someone does that's an instant turn off for you, making you instantly hate the idea of being with them romantically. But it is in the normal dictionary as well, the word ick. So it's an informal exclamation used to express a feeling of shock or dislike that makes you feel sick. So getting the ick doesn't necessarily have to be about, being attracted to somebody or something to do with relationships or dating. It usually is used that way, but it doesn't have to be. So it can really just be anything that's a turn off for you, something that people do, someone in particular does, that just is a bit off-putting, a bit gross, right? So the reason I asked for you to do this episode, Mav, is because we used to play Among Us on Discord, which we have to start doing again. That was so fun. So when we would play, we'd randomly just have conversations when we were in the lobby, waiting for things to load, waiting for people to come in, whatever. And I remember one night we got into a conversation about all the icks that you have. And I genuinely was shocked because I'd never heard a list that long. And we were just casually talking about it. I wasn't even counting it up. I just remember going, what the fuck? How many of these have you got? So I thought we'd talk about it today.
Yeah.
So I know that you already kind of were thinking about this. You were making a list.
I was because I was interested to hear the actual definition of ick there, because I probably haven't even read what the true definition of it is. But I think the reason that I've got so many is that I've got a very kind of selective memory, and I remember things from kind of my past. So a lot of these that I've got are actually things that I've seen, you know what I mean? And then I've stored. So I had to do a little bit of pre-prep and pre-planning and remember some of the key ones. But yeah, you told me before the episode, try and bring 5, and then I think I've got 19 that I've written down. Not that we'll talk about all of them, but yeah, there's some real corkers in there, and probably some that a lot of people can hopefully relate to. If not, I'm just going to come across like an absolute psychopath. So, but
either way,
you know,
good content. Either way, I'm fine with it. No, but I did come up with 5, and honestly, it was a bit of a struggle for me because I don't think I don't really have that many icks, right? I don't have that many things. I mean, I have things that annoy me, but I don't really think that anything is beyond reproach, I guess. But there are certain things that I think are quite important to me. So I had to think quite long and hard to put this list together. But I do have 5. So if you want, you've got obviously more than 5. What do you think will be easier? Do you want me to just do mine since it's a shorter list, and then we can go over yours? Or do you want to go back to back on the 5 and then however many you got over that you want to go over?
I think we'll go back to back on the 5, but I wanna introduce a severity rating for these two.
Fair.
Because some icks are something which will make you go a bit I'm not I didn't like that. But some are no, you say beyond saving if it's this type of thing. So I want to be clear. Not every single one of these would put me off a partner or put me off dating somebody, but some of them would.
Fair.
Definitely.
So some are going to be deal breakers, some won't. So you're kind of going to go over the severity of them. Yeah, no, that's fair. I think that's absolutely fair. All right, I tell you what, I'll go first because I think the first one on my list, I think this one is a deal breaker for me. And it's not just in dating. I don't think I can be friends with somebody like this, honestly, just because I think it's a character flaw for me. So the first one on my list is anyone being rude or dismissive to service people, cleaners, etc. I think it's a very common thing in dating when they say don't be rude to the waiter, the waitress, whatever. Which obviously I agree with, but I think that doesn't have to be a dating thing. I think that's a person thing. I don't know if I can be good with you if you are looking down on people because they have, a specific type of job or one that you deem lesser than the one you have. I think that's a huge character flaw. So that's just a huge ick for me in general. I'm
in complete agreement. I think that especially if someone does that on a first date, you might then, I maybe would then be I'm not too sure. And then you start to spot the patterns and other pieces of behavior. Because if you're like that in a public setting, what are you going to be like with me behind closed doors if something goes wrong? And, I think that's a major one. That would definitely be a deal breaker for me. Although it's not on my list, that would definitely be it would put me off somebody straight away. 100%.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, I'm glad it wasn't on your list because then we don't have an overlap. So go on, give me one of yours then.
Okay. Let me take a look. Let me take a look at the list. So I categorized mine into four categories.
Of course you did.
Of course I did. Food, personality. I put appearance / outfits, and that sounds really vain, but it's not. And out and about, which is kind of like a miscellaneous one. So which category would you like me to pull from first?
Food, I want an appearance, clothing. I want to know what's in there.
Okay. Dressing gowns and onesies. Dressing gowns and onesies. Now, not every dressing gown, because I have to admit, my girlfriend, she's got a dressing gown which I actually don't mind. But dressing gowns or onesies, because the way I see them is I feel like the sleeves are damp. You know what I mean? You've been washing the dishes and that, or you've been doing something in that, and the sleeves are damp, and like there's potentially a couple of bean stains on there. If you keep it fresh, right? If you keep it fresh, that is fine. But stained, damp onesies, if it's a Disney onesie or something like that, or a Disney dressing gown, it's even more of a no-go. But that for me gives me a little bit like a. I don't like dressing gowns. I don't wear dressing gowns personally. So there you go.
So hold on. Let's just backtrack. So your issue, aside from ones that are like Disney, which are just a no-go in general, but your issue with them would be if they were stained or had damp like sleeves. Is that, or like if I had a dressing gown, right? Not Disney, not stained, didn't have damp sleeves, you don't have an issue with that one.
Don't have an issue. Yeah, don't have an issue. But I think that has to be like a nice dressing gown.
Do you know what's so funny? I was so tempted today. Not because I knew of this ick ahead of time. I didn't. I was so tempted today to wear I've got a friend's onesie, and I was like, oh, it'd be so comfortable to wear that. And I think that I should have gone with my instinct, because that would have been hilarious for you to see that, and for me to just stand and be like, I'm in a onesie.
You probably would have been pulling at me, being like, I'm sure you said 19. We've only went through 18 here. And I'm like, nah, gotta cut it now.
That's funny. That's good. That's funny.
I think it's got to be a nice dressing. I don't understand the whole dressing gown for comfort thing though. Like personally, I just don't. If you put on a dressing gown after the shower or whatever, that's the purpose. But sitting around in a dressing gown makes me think that it smells.
But like, why wouldn't you sit in a dress? Like, it's warm. It's warmth, and it's like comfort. It's like usually like a fleecy material. Don't you like comfort, Jamie?
Wear a hoodie or joggers. You know what I mean? Like.
But it's literally the same thing. So like a lot of the time, dressing gowns will have, or like onesies will be specific for in the house. So you never wear, like, they're not for outside. They're specifically in the house with fleecy material. So it's warm and it's comfortable, and it's got a hood a lot of the time. A lot of these dressing gowns do have hoods now. I've literally got like, I can't remember what it's called, but it's like a blanket snood. So it's like this big fleece thing where it's like you put it over your head, it's got a hood, but it's like a blanket, so it goes all the way down to it doesn't have like legs or anything like that. Yeah. So the only reason you would wear that though is like in winter when it's freezing, you're in the house, you don't want to wear outside clothes, like, because to me a hoodie, joggers, that type of thing, you probably would have worn them outside, so you don't want to chill out indoors with them. That's kind of how I look at like dressing gowns and onesies.
I would put a blanket over like a hoodie and a pair of shorts or something like that, or a hoodie and like a pair of joggers to keep warm.
Okay, so you're fine with like an actual blanket. It's you just don't like
the whole dressing.
You know that traditionally blankets are washed less than like a dressing gown or a onesie would be.
I mean, if the point being, you need to take care of it, right? It can't just be all up in
can't be tattered, can't be stained. Fair.
You know,
that's fair.
Or with like Minnie Mouse on. Nah.
So it could be pristine, but if there's Minnie Mouse on it, you're done.
Yeah. I just think it's weird. Fair. It's weird. It falls into the same the same category as like having Disney like bedding or something like that. Like,
okay. Fair.
Weird.
Okay. All right. Well, hopefully no one's offended with that. All right. I've got a couple food ones. So maybe we'll go into your food category after this. So I'll do a food one. Loud smacking when you're eating.
What's smacking?
Like you know when you're like someone's really, you can hear when someone's like really loving their food and like they're just opening their mouth a lot when they eat, so it just makes a lot of sound.
Yeah,
you know, like
I do
that type of like you're eating and you're opening your mouth and constantly as you it's just it's loud. I don't like that. That's a lot for me.
That is a lot.
With that said though, it's not super severe, because if I feel like if I love you, then it bothers me less. But I do have like a sensory thing where I'm like, I can't do too much of that. It's a lot for me.
That could be repaired, you know, because you could have a conversation about that, and it, like, you know, if someone's really enjoying the food, say you come in after a night out, you're drunk, you get some food and you're really enjoying the food and you're just like uncontrollably eating, as we are, like, that's all right. But if you're in restaurants like doing that, then yeah, I'm in agreement. I think it's.
Do you know what? For me, it isn't even about like because we're in public. Even if we're just in the house having dinner together,
I can hear the food.
And you're just like, I can hear every bite and chew. Like, I can hear everything moving around in your mouth. It does something to me. I don't know. It bothers me. It really bothers me. But yeah, it's not necessarily about being out. I think it just in general that sound is not.
Is it the sound?
Yeah, it's definitely the sound. Yeah, it's definitely like it goes into a funny part. Like you can even see that. Just like I'm thinking about the sound, and it's making me go, oh, like it's a funny. It does something to my inner ear that I don't enjoy.
Not
so yeah, loud smacking.
I've got a kind of food sound one as well. A sound that I hate.
Okay.
I'm gonna do an example of it right now. Okay, watch.
Yeah.
You know, like that is disgusting. The whole like taking a drink and then going, it's
wait, so being satisfied with the drink is too much.
Yeah, I don't think you can be satisfied with a drink. You can come off a drink and go, oh, it's lovely that. Like, but the whole like, it's like a sound to the ear that makes me a bit like, oh, cringe. If it was just my friend doing that as well, I'm not even saying like a partner like that. Like
yeah.
One of my mates was doing that, I'd be like, would you stop doing that in my presence? Please.
Stop doing that in my presence is funny. I guess I never really, for me, it'll probably be someone like, pause on this. Someone's swallowing like really loud. I think that would annoy me more than that. Like if someone's taking a drink and they're just like gulp. Like, some people, I don't know what's going on there, but it's so loud.
I think I do that after football, after runs, and I'm just like glugging it down.
That's a bit understandable though. Like if you've just been working out or something, like water is amazing when you've just been like sweating and like working out in some way. That I get that, but like I think some people just have like a loud throat. I don't know. It's weird. Some people when they drink, I'm like, it's not. You don't have to gulp that hard to drink. It's not necessary. So I think that would annoy me way more than someone just like enjoying it and being like.
The thing is, I feel like if you've probably noticed that before with people, but like you might come off this podcast and then you're going to hear someone do that and be like,
maybe.
I feel
like that's only on TV that I've noticed it. Like it will be like in a film or in some kind of ad, someone will be like in some kind of Pepsi advert or something. Yeah. Like I don't think I've ever actually heard anyone do that in real life, but I absolutely would be on the lookout for it now because I want to know if people do that in real life.
Just listening into people's tables when they're having a drink and just
So, like, are you satisfied with that drink?
Yeah.
All right then. I've got another food one.
Nice.
Talking to me with your mouth full.
Yeah.
Now this isn't just because sometimes like it can't be helped. You're sitting for dinner with friends. Everyone's chatting right while you're eating. It's not so much that because sometimes you'll say the odd word, you still got a bit of food in your mouth or whatever, and you're in the middle of eating and socializing. That's not it. I'm talking about you're in the middle of eating, you take a big bite of something, and I have to watch you like squirrel it away like a fucking hamster to the side so that you can now begin a conversation with me when you could have just ate that food. And just ate that bite and then say what you need to say. Like for me, if I think of something or if I'm in the middle of a conversation and we're eating something, I'm out for dinner or something, more often than not, I'll just be like, oh, sorry. And then I'll quickly just doing.
It's a hand block mechanism. Yeah. People don't see it. Yeah. That's
I don't want to see the food moving around it. I don't want to see that. I don't want to, it's all breaking down in there. Like I don't want to see, please stop talking to me.
It's like a beige washing machine of like.
Honestly, it's really disgusting. Like
blended
food.
I
can see where the saliva's been breaking it down. I can see what you. Or was that a bit of mash in there? Like I don't want that. So just do this, finish your bite, and then we can carry on chatting. Again, sometimes, it is normal if you're out for dinner, especially that you will kind of just speak quickly while you just chewed something, but actually like physically taking a bite and then just speaking to me is crazy. Don't do that to me. Don't do that.
I feel like that one's more specific to boys. I mean, I do feel like it's a real boy thing to take a bite and then just be like, mid conversation, which is.
I have a woman in mind as I say this. So.
I'd hate that.
Yeah.
No way at all. Okay, I got another food one. And what I was saying before about like specific memories that I had to come back to make this list. Eating outrageous foods in the morning.
What's an outrageous food in the morning?
The thing in mind, I wouldn't necessarily say I fancied this girl, but I was in high school or middle school, high school, middle school. So I remember this really, really vividly. We used to get the train into school every morning, and I was kind of half into her, and we're sitting on the metro, the train that one day, and we're having a chat, and then she pulled out a big bag, like a grab size bag of pickled onion Monster Munch. This is at like 8 o'clock in the morning. That is insane behavior to be eating that. She finished the Monster Munch and then pulled out one of those like 40p things of Bourbon biscuits, you know, when you get like 20 biscuits for 40 pence from like Morrison's. Have you seen that?
Bourbon. Yeah, like the own brand Bourbons.
Yeah. And then she started eating them, and I thought, number one, this is weird enough anyway. And you're in public eating those things. But at that time in the morning, so I think outrageous foods in the morning is a
I understand, like I get, because those are like those are snack foods for later in the day. Those are like after school foods, like they're or weekend foods in the daytime. Like they're not breakfast foods for sure. I think I understand what you mean by outrageous in the sense of, especially with the pickled onion Monster Munch. That's the smell to have in the morning. That's really if you're not eating those crisps, they stink. Like if you're not, even if you're eating them, they smell, but at least you get to taste them if you like the taste. Yeah. But if like someone else is eating them, that smell is really truly off-putting. But at 8 in the morning, I feel like outrageous is the correct word for that.
You're carrying that pickled onion cologne for like 2 hours, like the scent.
On your hands, every time you speak to me, it's going to be pickled oniony.
The dusty fingers with the pickled onion bits and that, and like I'm just 8 in the morning. So I think eating outrageous foods in the morning, like crisps or biscuits, isn't bad if you're having a cup of tea, but not like a full pack of Bourbons on the train, right? But crisps.
I think the full pack of Bourbons is an issue in general. I think that's a problem.
Something wrong. But outrageous foods in the morning was another one.
Do you know what? So far, that's not unreasonable. The dressing gown one, I'm going to have to take umbrage with. I'm not going to lie, but I understand that if it's a stained one, fine. But so far, not too bad. Okay. All right. This one is more specific to men. So I think the other ones were all very like anybody, really.
Yeah, anyone. Yeah.
This one is a specific one to men. So men that only call women females.
Yeah.
I don't like it. And it just became this like weird trend a few years back where, to me, I know you lot are saying females because you don't want to say bitches. I know that's what it is. Like, because I know it came from like rappers doing interviews and stuff, and they didn't want to swear, so they didn't want to say bitches, and then you just see them like with contempt in their face and then just say females. And then it just became like the thing that all guys said. I don't like it. I personally don't like it. It's not because of anything to do it. Like it's not a cause. It's none of this. It's just, I don't like where you would not like, you can't say men and females. If you can't say men and women, there's something wrong with it. You're using that word when you're doing. Do you know what I mean? Like when I've literally heard people in a conversation talking about men and say the word men, and then talking about women and say the word females in the same fucking sentence or paragraph of speech. So I'm just like, I don't like it.
I understand. I think that women is the correct term, but probably the respectful term. Females feels like it comes with a bit of a negative connotation when you put it in the.
There's disdain in your voice.
There's something wrong with it. I mean, up here it's different dialects, but we would say birds.
Yeah, I don't care about that. I grew up in Essex, so birds is very normal.
Yeah, but it would be lads and or lasses, you know what I mean? Lads and lasses, or
Yeah.
boys and birds, or boys and girls, I guess. But yeah,
Yeah,
females.
like it feels weird, doesn't it? Like I feel like
to say that you're having to attempt to include that in, because it's not natural to just say female. So you're having to segue that word in there. I think,
especially if you're not discussing, like, I don't know, you're not discussing like a study and you're saying males this percentage, females this percentage. You're not, because when you say men, you're saying men. You're not saying males. So the way you speak, it's just, I don't know, it just, there's some kind of something in there. I can't quite put my finger on it. Like, I don't know, but it feels like disdain. It feels like a disrespect. It doesn't feel nice. So I think for me, that's off-putting. I don't think I could go on.
What are you saying on the severity scale, right? So like obviously this one is, like you said, disdain. Like I get like a bit like really irked with it, right? What are you saying about the context? Is it hearing someone doing it in when they're not talking to you? Are you saying like if someone starts to talk directly to you and then they refer to women as females?
So I've heard both.
Yeah.
Like both instances, right? And I think that so if I hear a guy like on a fucking podcast or in an interview or something, I'll just be like, you know, and then move on, because I don't know this person, don't care. But like if you're speaking to me that it does, there's like an alarm that goes off and I'm good. It's just like there's something in there that I think stays with me if you say it to me. Honestly, like if we're just having a conversation and you say female, I already know what type of time you're on, I feel like. So I have it in my head.
That's one,
like a marker next to your name.
I'm gonna look out for that, because when you're saying it, I can visualize it and hear it in my head, like different, especially when you said the rappers part, right? On podcasts, or I mean Central C probably, you know what I mean? Like I feel like he's definitely done that before. But I'm gonna listen out for that, because I've never really noticed it, but maybe it's because I'm a man, like I don't really pick up on it, but it makes sense. So I think that's a good one.
Definitely. I definitely, I wouldn't, if I was like, say on a first date and we were having a conversation and someone just said, like, the guy said, oh, and then females do this. Oh boy, that's I'm good. I'm good. Thank you.
That's right. It's moving from ick to red flag territory.
Yeah. Very, very quickly. Like I think, if I was in like a one-on-one setting and you said it, my goodness. Yeah, I think I'm good. Yeah. All right, go on. Give me one of yours.
Taking a look. Okay. This is topical because we're about to hit Christmas markets time, if they haven't already started.
Okay.
So cupping a hot drink and going, cozy.
You've added to that. You have added to that. Back in the day, it was just doing that. You changed it. You've added to it now.
Like describing it as cozy and like, you know, like I think, the cupping of the hot drinks with two hands is
but I told you when you mentioned this on Discord, I told you I absolutely do that with the mulled wine. Like I think there's even a picture on Instagram.
The shrug up as well. It's even the whole like, isn't it
cold? And the cup forms, so you're like.
And I know that people are going to be at Christmas markets doing that, so you better watch out for it, because that is it's not on severity. It's not like, it's not high. It's probably lower down, but it's still something where I'm just like, I mean, it's not cozy.
That's fair.
I don't get the whole hot chocolate thing anyway, though. Like,
Christmas market is mulled wine.
Oh, mulled wine's fine, but do you like hot chocolate?
I love hot chocolate. I say I love hot chocolate. I'll drink hot chocolate more. I don't drink hot chocolate throughout the year. Like I just don't do that. But around Christmas time, I will drink hot chocolate for sure.
Having a hot chocolate in July is insane.
No, you're a serial killer.
Yeah, that is.
You have to be.
It's a very rating. That's probably the actual one. If you're having a hot chocolate, like
I may have to add that to mine. Hot chocolate in July is crazy.
It's crazy.
I worry about you and myself being around you if you have hot chocolate in July.
Yeah. But yeah, cozy or anything like that. Cupping the hot drinks is just it's a bit weird.
I love it. That's literally what I do. If I go to a Christmas market, at some point I absolutely am having mulled wine and I'm absolutely holding the mug like this and shrugging because it's cold outside. It's usually December, cold outside. The cup is warm.
So
it's just
nice.
An instinct. It's a thing.
So nice to have a little bit of warmth, isn't it? Go inside. Stop doing that. Why are we here? Why did we pay £15 for that mulled wine? Tell me.
And it's so expensive. It is everything at the Christmas market is so wildly expensive.
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw a TikTok video of a guy at the Manchester Christmas market, and he pays like £11 for this. Like it's like a German sausage, as all the German markets on there, right?
Yeah.
And it's literally just like a hot dog in a bun. There could be from a can hot dog, like you wouldn't be able to tell, and it was like £11. I thought I'm not going to the Christmas market. Actually, I will go to the Christmas market. That's a lie, because I do like to have a walk around. It's something to do, but I'm not going to be buying hot chocolates and mulled wine.
It's weird. I've changed as a person over the last few years. So before, I used to love going to things where I would buy like tap. That's what I like to call it. Like little things, just little things that would just sit in the house. Just things, just little cute things you pick up along the way, just things. But I think that in recent years, I've not really been picking up things as I used to. So now when I go to a Christmas market, I'm just like, I don't buy anything apart from the drinks and maybe like have something to eat while you're there. But that's about it. I don't actually buy anything from the stalls to take home at all.
I don't even know what they sell at Christmas markets apart from the food and the drink.
It's literally tat. It's just tat. It's like Christmassy tat. And it's just overpriced because it's the time of year.
Yeah. Yeah, you pay.
And it's probably expensive to have a stall there. So
definitely expensive to have a stall
there,
or Manchester or are you still in Manchester? Are you still living in Manchester?
I am. Yeah, I'm still in Manchester. So I think the Christmas markets have actually, I think they've started now, or they're about to. I don't know.
Get yourself there for a hot chocolate. Cut it.
Never a hot chocolate, always a mulled wine. Hot chocolate I have in the house over Christmas, but I definitely have mulled wine at Christmas markets.
Yeah. I always feel it's quite disappointing hot chocolate because I feel like I should be getting the proper chocolate flavor that I'd get from a dairy milk bar or something, but instead I'm just getting watery, like
it's like cocoa.
Coke, yeah. It's not the same. It's not the same.
You know what you should do? You should make it at home, because what you can do when you're at home is if you get like good stuff like Terry's chocolate orange or like something like that, and then actually make it with milk, then it's a proper chocolate drink.
Yeah, that would be better. I might stick on the topic of out and about. You've got another one.
I've got one more left, so if you want to keep going a little bit, and then I can do my last one. Just
because I'm on the category of out and about, and these two are kind of like when you're out in the street. So I'm gonna smash them together.
Okay.
Crouching down to tie your shoelaces. So if your shoelaces come undone, I'm talking about like full crouch down into almost squat position, or one knee up, as if you're about to start a 100-meter sprint to tie your shoelace. I think you should always look for like a wall or a ledge to put that on to tie it. You don't need to be getting down into those positions to tie your shoelaces.
So your issue is that they're not putting their leg up on something to tie the shoe. It's that they're crouching down. Does their knee have to, if their knee touches the floor, does that increase the severity, or is it just the act in general is all bad?
I think the act in general is bad. Maybe it's just because it's not what I would do, but I wouldn't say on the severity scale it's super high, but I don't like it.
Okay. That is odd. It's odd that it bothers you for it to be an ick.
Would you not put your foot up on a ledge to tie, or like a seat, or like,
yeah, I would.
Yeah. This is what I mean.
Just because I would do that though, it doesn't irritate me if someone doesn't make that same choice.
This is what I mean. I kind of question like other things that you potentially will do if you do that.
Oh, so now you're like your decision making is in question because
the decision making is strange to crouch down because if you think about it, it does depend where you are. If you're in the middle of nowhere, then I might not like the act. But if we're in the middle of like a busy shopping center, and you're crouching down, and there's like people trying to walk around us while you're crouching down about to do the 100-meter dash to tie your shoelaces, then I'm going to be a little bit like potentially walking away. nah, not walking away, but yeah, I think I don't like that one.
That's insane that you feel so strongly about it.
I don't feel it's not. Not that I feel strongly, but I know what I like and I don't like, and I don't like that.
Yeah, but the fact that it's like in there, like, yeah, that's the thing I don't like.
It stayed with me. It stayed with me in my brain. So,
how many times has someone done that, like in your presence, and you've just been like, ugh?
Twice, and I remember how I felt the first time. That's all I'm gonna say.
How did that make you feel, Jamie?
I remember just feeling a little bit like, it's like what we talked about at the start, that the definition of ick, and that's why it's in there, because it made me feel like a bit weirded out and a bit like, why are you doing that? Like, and then it did happen in the future again, and it took me back to that place. So it's like the trauma replaying in my head.
Not you got PTSD because of it.
Yeah. And I just think, you need to be utilizing all the ledges that are available, to be honest. Or wear Velcro shoes. You know what I mean? Like, if it's that much of an issue, wear Velcro shoes.
I don't think it's an issue for them. I think they didn't even think about it. They just
People should start. People should really start thinking. It's like, think before you speak. No, think before you crouch down and tie your shoes. To be honest, it's not. It's not for me. And the next one on Out and About is over guessing crossing the road. And I know we've talked about this.
This is truly insane. Okay, so please, for those who don't, please explain what you mean by this.
I think I'm quite pragmatic, right, and logical. Okay, so for me crossing the road, it's
sorry, I almost did a spit take there. I'm so sorry. Go on. For
me crossing the road, right? Safety's first, but I am not breaking stride to cross the road more time. Unless it's super, super busy, I'm not breaking stride. So if I'm walking up a street, I'm looking as I'm walking up the street before I cross the road. Okay, there's nothing coming that way, nothing coming that way. Okay, diagonally across the road. I could not understand people who walk to the side of the pavement, look right, left, then right again, and then cross the road. I don't get it. I don't. That is for males, females, anyone that I'm with, right? I'm like, why are we stopping? Why are you slowing down my day? We don't have to break stride. We can continue. We don't have to stop here and check both ways. We can check both ways whilst we walk.
Wait, so is it only if there's if there's a car, obviously fine, stop. But what you're saying is if there are no cars coming, you should have been checking on your walk to there and not stopping at the pavement in order to check both sides.
Yeah, and whilst it might seem like a crazy level of detail, it shows a lack of spatial awareness, not self-awareness, potentially self-awareness too, but lack of spatial awareness in general. So like, know what I mean? I've never been run over, so my method clearly works.
I've never been run over, so why are you looking at both sides of the road before crossing? I'm trying to like reason it in my head. I understand what you're saying about like constantly being aware. So like when you're walking, you're coming, you're going to need to cross that road, just having a look around. Yeah, I just don't see anything wrong with, even if you did all of that, doing it again at the crossing before you cross. Like there's nothing wrong with that.
If I go out on a walk with my grandma, that is fine. We are fine to do that. Like, let me be clear. Grandma's catching no sly ones. Yeah, like she'll.
But if it's someone who's your age mate,
then we're looking both ways. But age mate, you're slowing down my day. You're impacting. You're taking my time there. It's seconds.
But how is it taking your time?
Because we've had to go to the side of the road and check both ways, which probably takes about an extra 10 seconds in comparison to just As we go. Now, if you multiply that by the number of times that you're with someone out and about, you're talking about potentially a day by the time we finish on this planet. Like literally, these things add up. You took a day off me. You took a day off me when you didn't need to. You know. Serious things, man. You've got to think about this.
Took a day of your life. Not yet. Someone who stops to cross before crossing, he stops to look and taking a day off your life by the end of your friendship.
That's why you need to get out with these type of relationships, whether it be with a friend or a significant other. That's why you need to get out of these types of relationships soon, so they don't take a day.
I'm crying.
Potentially only a couple of minutes if you cut it short and the 3-month mark or whatever. So
if you end that friendship quick, so it's only a couple of minutes of your life.
Literally.
That's very funny. That's very, very funny.
Okay. People don't think about the big picture, you know what I'm saying?
And I think that's okay that they don't think about it like that. That's a lot to think about. I've never thought about how someone is crossing in my life.
Yeah, I mean,
unless they're like crossing recklessly and just walking into the road and get hit by a car or something. But like, I've never been like, oh.
My girlfriend will tell you, I've got a problem with time. Like, it makes me like very anxious, not being on time for things. Not right. So I think this could just be specific to me. This could just be like my own.
But what has that got to do with being on time? Do you think it's going to make you late?
Not make late, but I like to be like, you know, I like to keep efficient where possible.
Okay. Listen, you've done all you can to explain that one. That's fine. I remember when we first heard it, because you the way you start and like summarize it is just like, I don't like when people stop and check both ways, and you're like, wait, that's
the little hedgehogs that we used to watch in school, where they'd be like,
yeah. Okay. All right. So my last one then, and obviously we'll just keep going until you run out. So my last one is people being proud of trolling or being mean to strangers online. And you know, there's people that are just like mean for no reason, or like super trolly for no reason, like online with strangers, but they seem like proud of it. Kind of like, oh yeah, I just did blah blah blah. I just think, oh. And I've met a few people like that in my life and just been like, oh.
Do you mean fake accounts or hiding behind burner accounts, or do you mean just actually in general, you know, someone on their own account constantly commenting on other things or other people? Or
yeah, I feel like, I mean, if you've got like a burner account and you do that, I wasn't aware of it. I think you're a loser anyway. But like, if you're doing it, I mean, you know, but if you're doing like that, I've met people for real who on their own account will be just like, and they'll be like, oh, I'm just trolling, like just being a dick. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's not necessarily like the same way as the way we have now with these bots and these burner accounts just being like racist. And I'm not talking about to that level, but just like people that are proud of just being dicks to people on Twitter or on the timeline in general. I find that to be quite a strange. Like, why is that your pastime? Why do you find joy in that? That's really weird. And I've met like 1 or 2 people who were adults, like full adults, who were just like, oh yeah, I was trolling him on Twitter. I'm like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's an interesting one. Given the niche that we're a part of, right? Given the niche that we're a part of, I do think that sometimes, I mean, I definitely have done it for like a bravado's sake, right? For like, you know, bit of ball swinging on the timeline or what have you, or putting someone beneath you because you want to battle them and stuff like that. So I get, but I would never refer to it as, oh, I trolled somebody successfully. I think that's a bit of like that's a real strange thing to be proud of, to be like, oh,
but there's also context to you doing that, right? So I think like when battlers are doing that to each other online. For one, that other battler isn't a stranger that you're doing it. Like there's a purpose behind it, right? You're trying to sell a fight or potentially set up a fight or, you know, kind of encourage some kind of conversation around you guys and your tier or whatever it is you're doing, right? I think that makes sense because there's reasoning behind it. I'm talking specifically about people that would, you know, get on the timeline and like just argue with people for the sake of like, you know, people that they don't know and like to be saying like mean things and kind of just feel proud of it. Like this is a stranger. There's no context for it. There's no, oh, I'm trying to set up this or I'm trying to do. They're just finding joy and being a bit of a dick to someone they don't know. Yeah. I find that behavior not only to be an ick, I just find it weird. Like in general, my icks can be summarized with just like being weird. Like that is, if you're just a weird person, I just find that really strange. Like, I don't think it's cool. I don't think it's funny. I just don't. It's not really for me. I find that to be a bit odd.
To brag about it afterwards is even more insane.
As a grown up, that's crazy.
It's a real it's a real immature thing, and I think it's a real immature thing in general because when you're younger, I mean, the internet's a wild, wild west. Not everyone's going to share the same opinion with you on something. So there's going to be I could go on the internet right now and find probably 100 things on Twitter and Facebook that I disagree with in multiple different sectors, whether it be music, politics, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't mean I have to go and argue with people about them. It's just someone, it's all a big opinion farm anyway. So like, it doesn't mean that you have to then argue or try and get one. It's like getting one up on someone. For what reason?
Yeah. You know, and even if you did, if it's just a case of like you were debating about something and you wanted to win, fine. Like, fine. But like being a dick to someone that you don't know for no reason, I don't get it. Like, where's the fun? Where's the joke? Like, what's fun about that? And I don't think that there's ever a reason that someone can give me or a response that somebody can give me to that question that makes sense in my head for me to not think you're a weirdo. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, there's nobody, like, if I ask you, hey, like, why are you being weird and a dickhead to people that you don't know for like fun? I don't think there's an answer you could give me that makes me think, oh, all right, that's fair then. I'd still think, oh, you're weird.
Yeah.
You know?
It would make me think, say it was a friend, or say it was like, I mean, definitely if it was a girl partner, like, why are you wasting that much energy in it? And it also makes me think, do you have any problems of your own that you're like then are projecting? You know what I mean? Like, are you projecting something here? Because it is crazy to go and argue with the internet. Argue with the internet is crazy, but argue with strangers on the internet and then get joy from it is kind of like, that's insane. It is insane.
Yeah, it is definitely like, what's wrong with you inside? What's going on with you that you think that that's like an acceptable way to not just behave, but like acceptable thing to do for fun? You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I get that. Like, it would be I would be looking at you like, what's going on the inside?
That's one that I've not thought of, but I'm going to take that one away because I've definitely read comments in the past of people being a dick to each other on the internet for no reason, and I've always thought, I wonder what that person thinks when they've like wrote that comment and then they go like away and just do that. Like, do they just forget about it? Do they then sit and go, oh, I definitely trolled that guy, blah, blah, blah. I have thought that in the past when I saw a comment and thought, typed that and then just walked away and done what? Like, why are you doing it? So, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Go on then. Have you got any other ones?
I do. You want food, personality, appearance, outfits, or another out and about?
Let's go personality.
Personality. Okay. People who make anything their full personality. And the examples I've got are ravers, Disney.
Oh.
People who go to raves.
Yeah, got it. Sorry.
Or mimicking a celebrity, which I think is like a major.
Like impersonators.
Like no, not like a professional impersonator.
No, but like people that can do a good, whoever celebrity, and then that like they just do that all the time.
More like copying like the hair, outfits.
Oh, okay, that is weird. Okay,
seen that in the past, like people who are like have an obsession over a particular celebrity, and then their full social. It's the same with ravers. Like their full social is like them at raves, them reposting house music, them like blah 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 blah. So maybe people who only have one lane of personality. Yeah, I'm not a fan. That's quite a turn off, I think.
Do you know what? That's fair, because it's funny. Just this morning, I was talking about how oftentimes very short women make that their entire personality, that they're small.
It could be something like
like, yeah, they'll be like, oh, I'm 5 foot, but I'm only 5 foot. And you're like, all right, cool.
Thing.
But what else is going on? Yeah, like, let's talk about something else. And it's obviously not all. It's not all. It's just the ones that do that. I remember I was having that conversation. So yeah, it's interesting that you brought that up. Making anything your entire personality is a bit weird.
It could even be something like as broad as like how loud someone is. Like I know that everyone's different, or extroverts, introverts, but I think people can play into their extrovertinism. Can play into the extrovertedness, potentially could be the word, but we might have just made up a new word. People can play into that too much by like really over egging it in public and social situations. So could be something like that. But people who make make anything their full personality, I think is weird.
It's basically just like not being multifaceted as a person is a bit of annoying to you. Fair. Okay. I don't mind that. that.
I also wouldn't want to be with a partner who was like going to raves every single weekend, popping pills and like saying, "Oh, there it is," when the beat drops. You know what I mean? Like, it's insane. It's horrible.
Yeah, I was never like a hardcore raver, popping pills, doing all that. But I did go raving a couple of times when I was younger. It's definitely a young person's thing. Like, I feel like late teens, early 20s, you're probably going to have a good time. And then after that, it's a bit like, oh, you know what? Let's not.
Serotonin receptors are burnt out. It's quite nice to sit in the house and watch the telly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, but even if you still like going out, I feel like that scene is very like, if you like, it gets to a certain point where, especially if you don't do like pills, like it's gonna get annoying. People are gonna start touching you and being all weird because they're off their fucking face. And I'm like, I've only had a couple of drinks. I'm not at this level that you guys are at, and I love that for you. Can't relate. So there's like certain scenes where it's just not really for you if you don't partake in it, in a certain way. I liked raves a little bit, but again, only a few times. More often than not, it would just be regular old like club nights and stuff. But even that now, I don't think I could be with anyone now that needs to be at a club every weekend. Sometimes some weekends you just be at home. Like, why are we going out all the time? I don't even like, honestly, I'm a homebody now, more so than ever. But I like going out, I like having the option to if I want to, but every weekend that you have to have something planned, every single weekend, you have to go out, you have to do this, that's too much for me. Way too much.
This relates to another one, going out all the time. And I definitely think that as a broader one, that could be potentially a turn off. But this specific one is hugging the bouncers. Girls who hug the bouncers, and
so you know them and you hug them, and yeah.
I feel like, and someone I was speaking to Will Ross about this, and I think he quoted a bar, and I don't know who said it, but it was along the lines of when the bouncers see your girl, they say, "Oh, here comes trouble," and it sounds like a Sean Cray bar, but I don't know who said it, but like, anything like that, like if you know the bouncers, I'm gonna suspect that you are there every single weekend or on this circuit every weekend, and for me that's a bit like nah. And also, why do you know the bouncer? Like, from where?
From going out.
The bouncer's there to protect you. Like, why do you know him on like first thing?
I can attest to my younger years, very long time ago, when I was going out all of the time. This was back when, gosh, this is between the ages of like 15 and 20, maybe. So for about 19, 20. We would go out all the time. Me and my friends would be out all of the time. So we'd be out Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, and sometimes we go out Sunday as well. Like, we were out constantly because it was back when we used to be able to, we were young enough that we could get up and go and do our part-time jobs and go to college and still be fine and functioning, even though we'd been out the night before. So I knew a lot of the bouncers in the area because, especially as a woman, like, I find that, like, one, people are more likely to just speak to you in general. So even like bouncers and stuff, like if you're waiting around, they're more likely to speak to you. They're more likely to like have a quick conversation with you on the way in, especially if there's like a queue or something. They're more likely to remember you and like let you come in if you're nice as well. I specifically was always very nice to bouncers, like extra nice to bouncers, because for a lot of that time I was underage. So I wanted them to think, hey, I'm an adult. Don't ever ask me for ID if I come back. So I was always like very friendly, very nice, very personable. So I knew that. So whenever we would go out, I knew the bouncers. And I used to always go out in the same area in Romford. It'd be like one street where everyone, you know, there's clubs and bars all along that street. So I was out.
Are you hugging them?
I mean, some of them, yeah. It would have completely put you off if you knew me back then. We were going to a club because, yeah, I did know some of them are like extra friendly and they will give you a hug and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I understand why it's an ick, though. I totally understand why it's an ick. And I think that if that was still happening to me at my age now, I think the partner would probably be like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
My partner would probably be definitely, but like, you know, obviously I was a teenager then, but yeah, I think I understand why it's an ick. I do get it. I
appreciate that. I don't like it. Appearance and outfits.
Okay.
I feel like this has gone out of fashion a bit, and I'm glad, personally. Birthday makeup.
Birthday makeup?
Birthday makeup was a big thing for a while.
What, like getting it done professional?
Getting it done professional by an MUA. And then that like awkward photo that they would take of you afterwards where you've got to go like. But
wait, why is that an ick for you if the girl gets birthday makeup done?
I think if you ask any majority, okay, I'm not going to say any, should be any, you ask a majority of boys, they will tell you that birthday makeup does not look good.
Oh, I see. Okay, so it's not that they went to professional to do it. It's that oftentimes it's too much. It doesn't look like them anymore because it's not their style with makeup.
There's a lot of colors and like.
Yes.
I've got nothing against drag artists, but it's very drag in my opinion.
Yes.
When I look at it, I feel like it's super over the top. So yeah, I think that's quite a unanimous one. Like if you ask my mates, they would say birthday makeup's a bit like nah.
I think men in general aren't the biggest fans of makeup anyway. I think a lot of the time. Yeah, I think men in general aren't very, like, they're fine. I think a lot of them, you know, fine because they've got partners, maybe wives or whatever, and so it is what it is. But I think majority of men, just from my understanding, aren't too into makeup in general. So I think that makes sense, a professional one, because it will also be a very different style because it will be different or a different person doing it. Rather than like you being used to how your girlfriend looks when she has makeup on a night out or for a date or something, is very different than having professional makeup done.
My girlfriend's beautiful without makeup, and even minimal makeup. I think she looks perfect. But then I also see the other side because if she wants to go out and get done up, then I get that side of it. You know what I mean? If you want to do that, just don't be having like, I don't know, a luminous green eyeshadow and crazy, like, you know what I mean? Crazy birthday makeup. So.
All right. I can't be too mad at that. I think a common ick is probably going to be makeup related for guys.
I think so. On category and appearance and outfits, socks not on properly.
You and socks. All right, go on.
Socks hanging off, or the socks on the wrong way around so that the heel's on the top of the foot.
Okay, yeah, that's just not wearing them
correctly. Yeah, like how did you get? People say,
but do sometimes they turn.
how do you get dressed in the morning? That's a thing that people say. Like, how do you even get dressed in the morning? Like, if
you've got big socks, they might turn. Like if they're a little bit loose on your foot, because socks don't really come in a size. It's like a range of sizes. So if you're at the bottom of that range, then they might just get a little loose.
But for it to hang off the bottom of the foot like a little flap that like goes up and down when you walk, type of thing.
I think I said this to you when you brought this up on the Discord. You would hate, like, because in the house, I will typically wear like knee socks when it's wintertime, when it's cold out. And sometimes like when you're moving around, like, you know, and then you walk, I'll catch like a bit hanging off and I have to pull it up.
That happens with football socks. That happens with football socks as well. You know, they're not like kind of.
And you have to just pull them. Yeah, you just have to kind of adjust them.
Yeah.
To be fair, though, I wouldn't just keep walking around with it flapping up. I would pull them up. So
pull them out.
Is your issue that that you just have it and you're not doing anything? You're not fixing anything.
If you're not doing anything about it, would be the issue. It's fine if that happens. I mean, my socks turn around sometimes as well, but like.
Okay. So it's less unreasonable.
I'm not sorting it. I'm not sorting it in the moment. You need to address that straight away. You need to like correct it, type of thing.
Okay. Yeah. Any other ones?
I feel like I've discovered I've got some OCD tendencies during this podcast.
Oh, just now you're discovering it.
Just a few. I'm going to quickly go over these couple because they're not as interesting. But people who post stuff like Ibiza isn't ready for us, or like Magaluf isn't ready for us when they go on girls' holidays. I mean, it is ready for you, and you're just going to go out and get wasted every night. So I'm pretty sure these places have seen that millions of times before, and we'll see this millions of times in the future.
Yeah.
So like that. Boomerang instas are going a bit out for me. I mean, I've done a lot of boomerangs in the past, I'll be real, but boomerang instas of like, not a fan.
Are people really are they still doing it? Is that a current issue you're having?
I think so. And usually it'll be like the friend of the girl with the drink, like.
I did not know people were still posting boomerangs. Now I know.
Okay. Interested to know what you think about this one. I put eating in bed unless it's pizza or something practical. So I put a little bit of a guideline around that, but eating in bed. Like, and what I mean is, I don't want to see you having an Indian takeaway in bed.
That's insane. I think that's insane. That's insane. Oh my God, that's insane. But I think it depends, right? So for me, you can like eat on the bed. And again, it's limited to certain things. It can be like snacks, things like that. But I don't think you can be like under the covers eating in bed. Does that sound insane? Because I feel like that's worse. Like you can't get in where you're going to get into sleep and just be like eating. That's a bit mad to me. But you can like sit on the bed. You can even be like, you can have something, you have like your laptop on there. If you're like, you can be on the bed and like have, you know, little snacks or eat something that's not Indian or anything like that. That's insane. But like, you know, you can, but I think if the covers can't be on you while you eat anything. No. That's weird.
I personally can't be trusted. I mean, my girlfriend would tell you I cannot be trusted because I'm the sloppiest eater ever.
Oh,
I will spill everything. Even if I'm trying really hard not to, I will definitely have like droplets, and that droplet cannot be chicken tikka masala. Like, you know what I mean? It's even
never
like,
coming out.
I don't mind making my girlfriend breakfast in bed because I think it's a really nice thing to do. But if I have
breakfast in bed is great.
Yeah, it's great. But if I have toast in bed, I'm going to go to bed later that night and there's going to be crummies like underneath me, and like that's just that.
No.
Sand.
No.
You know what I mean?
You can't have crumbs in the bed.
You can't have crumbs. So like, this is why I think unless it's something, that's why I put the parameters of unless it's something practical. Because if I'm a bit hungover, I'm partial. You know, we're lying on bed to have a couple of slices of pizza. That's cool, but like, you can't be having like Sunday dinner in bed.
That's insane. No. You can't have anything that requires a knife and a fork in bed. That's one. You can't have anything like soupy or stewy. You can only have like soup if you're sick. If you're literally sick and can't get out of bed, that's obviously different. You can have like soup. But like you can't do that. You can't have like you can't be under the covers eating anything.
No.
For me, like I've got a blanket on my bed as well. So I'll sit on top of the duvet. Like when we have like on a Sunday or even sometimes on a Saturday if we're hungover or something like that, we'll get breakfast in. I'll have my blanket on my feet if my feet are cold, but I'm not getting under the covers to eat breakfast in bed. I can't. We're not doing that. Yeah, because if you spill something and it spills on the duvet, everything's still gonna get changed anyway. But like if you get crumbs on the duvet, it's not the same as getting crumbs on the sheet that you got to lie on. I can't have crumbs in the bed.
Yeah. See,
I find that it's too much.
I think that is a rule that we should put. I agree with the knife. Like if it's with a knife and fork, you need to really consider about whether you should be having it.
You need a table. You need a table.
And then if it's like something more practical, it can't be under the covers. They should teach stuff like this in schools because we waste time learning about all this nonsense. But like, you know, people are out here having Chinese, like a full Chinese takeaway with the cartons on the bed, like with the cartons.
Oh my God.
Like there's like
First of all, let's talk about it. A lot of this stuff, you shouldn't be eating it out of the cartons anyway. Wherever you're eating it in your house, it should be on a plate sometimes. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's got to be. Some of these things have got to be on a, like, I get it. Pizza out of a pizza box makes total sense. Totally get it. If you're having something small that's in like, you know, like sometimes, for example, my Chinese order a lot of the time will be salt and pepper tofu. I'll get that. And then I'll get like egg fried rice with, you know, some kind of nice sauce, maybe like an okay sauce or something like that.
Yeah.
If I do that, that's the rice and the sauce, anything like that has got to be in a plate or a big bowl or something like a pasta bowl. I'll put it in a pasta bowl, right?
Yeah.
But the tofu, because there's no sauce, it's salt and pepper tofu, there's no sauce, and it comes in like one of them polystyrene things with the lid. So I can eat out that because it looks like a chip packet.
Yeah.
So like that's fine. But if you've got like, you know, the little reusable containers or the little foil ones with for a curry, like that's insane. Stop eating out of those. You can't eat. You need a plate. Put it on a plate. So yeah. But maybe I have more icks than I thought, Mav. You're uncovering icks that I didn't know I had.
So I think eating in bed was definitely one where I'm like, nah. An immature, to wrap up the food section, immature palate. I think the wider implications of having an immature palate is you're not open to new things.
I think that's fair.
So if you'll not try something and you're over the age of, I don't know, but if all you're eating is pizza, chips, and turkey dinosaurs,
you got to grow up.
You've got to grow up. You've got to grow up. There's so many good things to experience out there, and it makes me question whether like you would, you're open to new experiences in general. So that wraps up.
And just as a convenience thing, like if it's especially your partner and you want to go out like nice places for dinner, and you know they're going to just be like, "Oh, is there chicken tenders or anything here?" Like you can't go and try new places with someone who's like unable to eat grown-up foods.
I'm partial to a chicken tender every now and then, but I'm not.
There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with childish foods, right? There's nothing. But if that's all you eat, that's when it becomes a problem, right? So like, if you put, there's like smileys we used to have at school, the potato smileys. If you put one of them in front of me, I will be so happy.
Yeah,
it's been a long time since I've ate it, but I'll 100% eat it. But I'm not going to a friggin' restaurant on date night and being like, oh, they haven't got any smileys. Like that's insane.
Yeah, do you do potato waffles and beans and chicken tenders? No, man. No, get something.
Can't imagine.
Yeah, expand your horizons, basically. So a closed mind with stuff like that. I think it's a no. Okay, I've got one more.
All right, let's do it.
Got through quite a few. It's from a personal experience.
Uh-oh.
I know. Going to the cinema, going to the toilet midway through the film, returning from the toilet and not being able to find the seat that was sat in. and you're on the stairs, flashlight on,
Oh,
trying to look on the stairs to see what row it is, and making a bit of a fuss, to be honest, because now everyone else in the cinema has kind of directed their attention towards you. I just think, I just think it's, I'm surprised he made it back.
What if they have a bad memory, Mav? What if they literally just couldn't remember like what row it was? Because like sometimes they will have the rows will be lit up, like it will say like D and stuff like that, and C, and it'll be lit up a little bit. But what if they just have a bad memory and don't remember where you guys were sat?
Holding your wee.
Don't go to the toilet at all.
Don't go to the toilet. And I'm now worried that potentially I will lose you in future because you can't find your way back to things. Do you know what I mean? So
you're just, these are like practical, all of your icks are just like practical things where they're small, but they're indicative of how you're going to be in your life together. And there's things that you got to watch out for, is what you're saying.
Yes. Spot the patterns of behavior. And look, this is why I'm so concerned coming on here and talking about some of these, because I'm not far from fucking perfect, right? There's probably multiple. There's definitely multiple things that I do that would fucking piss somebody off or irk somebody. But this is just my kind of personal experience, and that for me, I didn't go on a third date. I didn't go on a third date after that because I thought.
I was gonna say that first date at cinema, that was already like you didn't want to get to know her. Like
it was a second date, and I didn't go on a third because I just thought no. The only thing that could have made it worse is if she fell over someone's feet while she was coming back in the row. You know what I mean?
So but just general embarrassment. You can't
flashlight on in the dark cinema is mental.
Yeah, it's a bit. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It is a lot.
It's too much. Way too much.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, Mav, thank you so much for sharing those icks with us. Do you know what? I've discovered about myself that I actually probably have more icks than I thought, because of some of those, I was like, that's reasonable. And I think I agree. So
yeah,
not too bad. Well, listen, we're in the final segment of the show, Mav. This segment is called Mahakama. Now, Mahakama is Swahili for court, and it's a segment of the show where I basically like to and encourage my guest co-host to join in on judging people, things, situations, whatever the case may be.
Perfect. So this sounds like my type of thing based on what we've just went through. So cool.
Right, exactly, right. So I mean, I'm trying. I don't know about you. I'm trying to be a little bit less judgmental in life in general. So it helps to have a segment where I can just be super judgmental. I get it out, right?
I'm not. Just to be clear, I'm not trying to be less judgmental. But so this for me too.
This is just part and parcel to your regular life. That's fair. Well, listen, so you didn't stay up to watch this because we already talked about this, but on the Paul Tyson card, there was an absolute slugfest between Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano. Now, Serrano, unfortunately, was robbed of the decision, in my opinion, but it was the co-main event, and it was a rematch between the two ladies and a super lightweight championship fight, okay? Mm-hmm. So during the fight, Serrano's trainer, Jordan Maldonado, was being interviewed during the fight briefly, and the interview showed on like the lower third, like a small square, where he was talking about Katie Taylor and her headbutting, because Serrano unfortunately had quite a bad cut under her eye, and he was talking about how it's unfair, she's headbutting, But post-fight, obviously, when Katie Taylor was given the win, Serrano was interviewed again, and when she was being asked about the possibility of a third fight between her and Taylor, Maldonado, her trainer, made more accusations about headbutting and said Serrano would do a third fight if headbutting is not included and we get a fair referee, one that knows what he's doing and is going to do what he has to do. Now, I do want to say, bear in mind, the ref did knock a point from Taylor for headbutting on the 6th round, okay? So I want to know from you, what are your thoughts on that, and whether you would give Jordan Maldonado mercy or no mercy for the outburst. So obviously nothing's going to happen. Mercy is just like, it's not that bad, and you can give you reasons why you think that. And no mercy is that actually you probably shouldn't have done that.
And Jordan was the trainer.
Yes, so Jordan Maldonado is Serrano's trainer, and while Serrano was being interviewed after her loss, unfair loss, he then started talking about Katie Taylor, talking about how she was headbutting, listing out all the people that she'd fought before that had been cut because of headbutting, like saying all of these things that were pretty negative, to be fair. Yeah. What are your thoughts?
I know a little bit of context about this fight because I saw the after-fight stats, and I know that the Saldano, is it Saldano? What's her name? Serrano. Sorry. Yeah. Serrano landed like 100 more punches than Katie Taylor. So I know that it's a bit of a weird one. I would give mercy because I actually think that headbutting in boxing should be more than a point taken off. I think if you headbutt someone, if it's but it's hard in the moment. It is, I guess, hard in the moment to judge whether it's by accident or whether it's intentional. But an intentional headbutt for me should be more than 1 point taken off.
I will preface it by saying that she headbutted her more than once, right? So she headbutted her. Yes, she'd headbutted her, which initially caused that cut.
Yeah.
But after that, there were several times when the ref kept like telling her, watch your head, like kept saying that, which is why he ended up deducting the point. He didn't deduct the point immediately when the cut happened. This was after.
Yeah. Unfair advantage. It's an unfair advantage. So I would give mercy because I don't think I don't think it's a bad outburst at any time, and it's definitely not a bad outburst after such a controversial decision. You know, when emotions are running high, sometimes you do have a knee-jerk reaction to go a little bit above and beyond with the emotion, and so I would give mercy.
That's fair. That's a good answer. I agree with what you've said for sure, because I was thinking about this, and I can definitely see from his point of view. Look, his fighter has been injured. His fighter has been robbed very clearly. And you know, it's the second time that she has failed to beat Taylor, and the first time was also a controversial decision, right? So, and also I appreciate that they're not getting more eyes on their match or their opinions than they did that night, right? It's on Netflix worldwide live, you know, everyone was watching that. I'm sure that they haven't had eyes like that ever in the past.
Yeah.
So I get why his inclination would be to make sure that he was heard. He said the things that, makes a statement, said the things that needed to be said in his mind. And I actually agree with a lot of what he said. But for me, I think it's going to end up being a no mercy. And here's why.
Okay.
He'd already been interviewed, right, during the fight, and he already made sure to say that she was headbutting a lot, that Taylor was headbutting a lot, and that it's not right, you know, and talking about how she was leading with her head a lot. I think he already made sure, because that was already heard to the Netflix audience, right? And I think because of he wasn't being asked anything at the end. He was being asked when he had his interview during the fight. Short as it may have been, he wasn't being asked anything. He interrupted Serrano speaking to the person, person interviewing her. He wasn't being asked anything, so he interrupted Serrano, who was being very gracious. Actually, she still made a point to say, she headbutted me. It is what it is, but she was still being very gracious and very sportsmanlike. Probably need a better non-gendered word for that, but you know what I mean. And what she ended up actually doing was talking her shit later on Twitter and said, she had a point deducted and I was given this, and this, but she still wins with all three judges. That doesn't make any sense. And I think knowing the forum of which to do these types of things, like you can't be just interrupting her, complaining, like bringing down the whole vibe. Your fighter is already lost in a way that clearly is unfair. You guys know is unfair. We can see is unfair. You didn't need to add to that as her trainer while she was also. Yeah, I think
it reduced the impact of what he said the first time round because he's then.
Yeah, because now you're there complaining. It sounds like you're whining, and and this was in a moment where your fighter is behaving graciously, and also being praised for her skill and her talent by the interviewer. And you've come in to now interrupt and talk about how unfair it all is, and how I just think that wasn't the right forum, in my opinion, especially because you've already aired your grievances on Netflix. So it's not like this was the only opportunity you were going to get to say what you said to the viewers, right? Also, again, he called the referee unfair. I don't know that he was unfair because he did keep warning her and he did deduct a point, but obviously you feel slightly differently. You think it should be more than just a deducted point. I would also say that Serrano was obviously very badly injured. That cut kept reopening. And Maldonado didn't insist that the fight was called. He said, he kept asking, are you okay? Obviously, she's going to say, yeah, I'm okay. She's fighting for the damn championship. She's not coming out unless literally her eye is hanging out. Do you know what I mean? She's going to say she's fine. And she went in there like an absolute warrior. But if you felt this strongly, you should have called that down. You should have called it because that injury was bad. So you also were kind of taking advantage a little bit in my book. You wanted to take advantage of the situation on the platforms. You can't now come and complain to me. But I do understand. I do see your point of view, and I do get it, and I did consider it. But I think it's gonna have to be a no mercy for me because it just wasn't. It wasn't the time. Wasn't the time.
I see both sides. It's kind of like I can't remember what I've read the Laws of Power. I can't remember which one it is, but if you're in the middle of an argument, the moment that you're trying to make a point, the moment that you overreact with emotion, you almost start to lose, because if the opposition is so calm, it just makes you come across as like really, really bothered about it, and then it dilutes the point. I give mercy because there's so much on the line, so I can see that they've obviously trained for so long, but I can also see the no mercy side. So
yeah, maybe I'm being a bit harsh too, but it is what it is. At least we got both answers on the episode. All right, well, that was fun. So that is it. Thank you so much, Mav, for joining me today. Before we go, is there anything you want to promote or let the people know about?
You can go and watch my battles on Premier Battles. I've got one coming out, should be the end of December with CJA. So by the time this gets out, maybe it's... How quickly are you releasing these?
This will be out Wednesday.
All right, okay. So it won't be out yet, but you can go and watch my battle with Oppa, with Visual. You can go watch any of my battles there. My Twitter is @_JamieMav. If you want to tweet me about any of these icks, just let me know. I don't really have anything else to promote apart from stay happy, stay healthy.
Oh, that's nice. I like stay happy, stay healthy. Well, listen, if you like this episode, if you have some icks that you disagree with, or you have some ones that we haven't discussed, please do make sure that you put them in the comments on the YouTube, or do, tweet Mav or tweet Pot of Mercy if you think that there's some that we should add to the list. If you enjoyed the episode, please do like it. Please do share it with people. If you're listening, make sure that you rate the podcast 5 stars. And if you're watching, please engage with the video and subscribe to the channel. So that's about it. Other than that, thank you again, Mav, for joining me, and I will see the rest of you next week.